All right, welcome on. How we doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing all right. Just I don't know, trying to get excited about a Super Bowl between two teams that I don't know, just don't really
Yeah, do
support
not care
or
about.
appreciate. Yeah, no, not at all. Also, did you know this is a cool fact. Travis Kelsey and Jason Kelsey, brothers.
What?
Brothers, yeah. And no, and they
Brother
both
in
play
the
football.
Super
They
Bowl.
both
That's
no, I
pretty
know,
cool.
and they both play football, and they're both one of them's on one team, one of them's on the other, the Super Bowl teams. So, well, I don't know about yeah, no, family. It's yeah, blood relation.
But they're going head to head.
Together, yeah. And they're I mean, you would guess it, their parents, just torn up about it. I mean, super proud,
Yeah, what do
obviously,
they
but how
do?
do you root
Who do
for,
they cheer for? You
well,
know,
one team or the other? And,
they're gonna
his
seem
their
like the
mom
most
said,
fair weather fans of all time.
they probably are. So,
You know,
yeah,
it's a
no,
real debacle.
crazy fun fact for you to start things off. I figure we start non-Super Bowl for the strong majority of people who, wanted a different team from their conference to be in it. So,
Right, right,
yeah,
right.
let's go around the league. We're gonna start with free agent quarterbacks: Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy G. Where do you think each of them are gonna end up?
Okay. Well, I don't really know about Jimmy. He's the okay. So let's start with him because
Yeah,
I
one
have
of these is
no
not like
clue.
the other. That's a
Yeah,
fair
I
statement.
have
Yeah.
absolutely no idea where he's going to end up because he seems to be just kind of. I had really high hopes for him in San Francisco. I thought he was going to be the guy there, and he seemed like he was coming up. But then, his career has just been he keeps getting passed around and staying mediocre. So I don't know if anybody's going to take him expecting him to turn their franchise around. So
It's
it's
to me, it feels like if he were about 5 years older, you just put him on the Colts.
yeah, right.
That's like that just falls right in
That's
line. You
just
put
who
him on the
they yeah,
Colts,
that's
Nick
their thing.
Foles, he just fits right in with that group.
Yeah.
But as is, I don't know. I He has truly had one of the more like absurdly tortured, just like getting injured at maybe the worst possible times.
Yeah.
His defense fail him up 10, with like, a minute or however much left in that Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Like,
Yeah. Rough.
he has been so close so many times. And then basically last year had his coach say he's not going to be on the team. And then they just had to awkwardly be like, "Hey, do you want to still be on the team after we said that?" And then he ended up, of course, like coming in 2 weeks in after an injury, and then got injured, I think, against the Chiefs or something, and now it's Purdy time. But
Yeah.
devastating
Yeah.
career. Seriously,
Oh, it
I don't know
sucks. It
what
sucks for him.
franchise would redeem it. If you could choose the team that he went to, what would you pick?
Um. Hmm. I don't. Well, I honestly I wouldn't hate him in New Orleans versus what we have now. But
Over Andy Dalton? That's yeah, I'd say, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah. Otherwise, I feel like well, shoot, who's struggling for? Everybody has somebody young right now, or
I have him as a commander. Uh, I don't
okay,
know. They seem like,
that would work.
the type of team that can't legitimately convince, like, grade A quarterback material to sign with them, and he's just
Yeah,
right at that
yeah.
minimum, that level that they could afford him. Um, would he obviously, I don't think it's anybody necessarily wants to go to Washington, but if he's offered a
No,
starting job, Terry McLaurin and a bunch of young receivers, it's actually kind of a, you know,
yeah, and he
ownership
would
aside,
probably
yeah,
be able to keep them afloat at least until for while they continue to rebuild the program.
as the
But
20 something year rebuild continues, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, okay, so on to the, I guess just yeah, tier up of quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
let's see, Aaron. So, do you think Aaron is on his way out?
I can definitely okay, here's a theory that my dad had. He said, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, by a higher power, will not be allowed to retire in the same season, because the Hall of Fame could not handle having to split them, as giving
Yeah.
their speeches, and it kinda makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, think he's too proud for retirement.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't think he's retiring for
and
another few years.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, because he flirted with retirement last year. He was like, I don't know, tossing it around as he talked about
Yeah.
maybe moving to a different team. I like to think, and I don't like the Packers, but a Devontae Adams reunion in Las Vegas would be kind of fun. I don't know.
That'd be cool. That would be cool. Yeah.
Who do you
I
think?
don't see well, I don't think he would stay in the NFC for sure.
Yeah,
He
that
would
seems
try to
reasonable.
go compete with those younger guys and try
Do
to
you think he could compete still with like the
I
Josh
don't
Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, Burrow, everybody?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Based
I
off
don't think
this
so.
season alone,
Yeah.
no. Like not even close.
And what AFC team? I mean, because the Raiders were kind of uh, terrible to watch last year
Yeah.
defensively. Like he would have to go to a team that is totally ready to. Man, if only if only the Broncos hadn't put themselves in this position.
Yeah.
I know they wanted them, so it's not entirely their fault, but that would actually be
I was
like with
about to
their
mention that.
defense, Jerry Judy, that would actually be like a
Yeah.
prime fit.
And now they
That's
got
brutal.
Sean Payton over there now.
Oh yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about that as a Saints guy. How are you feeling right now?
I mean, I'm torn. I don't know. Like, part of me's like, did he just straight up give up on the organization that quickly? Is it a justified decision if that's what it is? I think probably. I think, I don't know. It's frustrating because if you go and the Broncos start doing well next season and like turn their organization all the way around, then you know that that's why we were on the uptick the past decade or whatever. That and a combination of Breeze, and with both of them gone, it's dark days ahead. I feel like so it makes me upset.
So that yeah,
But
okay,
part of
that's
me is like, good
expected.
for you, dude. Go get your get another Super Bowl or something.
Do you feel bad for him that he got tagged with Russell Wilson, or do you genuinely believe in him as like a guy that can maybe turn Wilson's
I
career
mean, I
around?
would feel bad for anybody getting tagged with Russell Wilson at this point.
Yeah.
He is he's just got to be just a nightmare to work with just how cringy he is.
Yeah. I feel
Because
like at some
he's
point
not just doing that stuff for the cameras.
do you think he's at
People
home
tell
with
us
his
things that we
kids?
never see.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't want to go coach him, but I feel like he does have talent, and Sean might be able to get that out of him. I don't know, but
It's just brutal.
yeah, yeah,
Because I think a lot of Denver fans would have also said like when they signed Russell Wilson as a as a compromise for not getting Rodgers, they would have been like, yeah, no, that's a good compromise. I mean, it's a good if we have to settle, might as well settle for a future Hall of Famer,
yeah.
Super Bowl winning quarterback. I don't think that anything in history compares to how poorly that went for how
It's
on paper it should have gone.
and it's got to be just because it's Denver. Like it's just something unlucky that they have ruining. I mean, because no one thought that he was mediocre.
No, no.
No
Dude,
one
they were
thought that he was
comparing him
even
to, like,
average.
Rodgers, and early in his career, it
Yeah,
was like, is Rodgers the best maybe of all time, best right now, or Wilson? And that was, like, a reasonable discussion.
yeah.
And then
Well, in
Geno
the
Smith
beginning of
goes and
every
breaks
season,
his
he's
record this year.
always in the MVP conversation,
Yeah.
and then he dips off. But I don't know,
Yeah,
something
a
happened, and
tough
he
year
was
for
second
the
half Russell Wilson the whole season.
yeah. It's a tough year for the Russell Wilson doesn't get enough Hall of Fame vote camp. I mean, that
Yeah.
is they are going into a deep retirement. That's brutal. Okay, so I don't think we've been really loose with our team assignments. How do you feel about the Garoppolo and Rodgers where we've placed them?
I like Garoppolo in DC. I think that would be pretty cool. And that would be at least entertaining and
Yeah,
give the Commanders fans something to look forward to, someone that can potentially come in and give you a better season than you had this year. Rodgers to the Raiders would be neat for the Devontae Adams thing. I'm what if who did Cleveland just pick up?
what at quarterback?
Yeah,
Goodness, I actually don't know. I'll look it up.
I forgot who Cleveland has right now, but that would be interesting.
Wait, Browns?
Or
What do you mean with the Browns pick? Like just recently picked up
yeah, didn't they?
Deshaun Watson? I mean, what am I think? What are you thinking here? I'm so lost.
I don't know.
This is exceptionally
Yeah,
funny to
no, it
me. I
might
don't.
just be Deshaun. I don't know what I'm
I
trying to
mean, they've
think
got
of.
Jacoby Brissett. And that's a. Could that be?
No, it might. Maybe it wasn't Cleveland. I don't know. Um, but yeah, and I would like to. I wanted to say the Jags, but I don't think they're. I think they trust in Trevor
Yeah.
pretty heavily. So I think
Yeah,
they're
I
going to
wonder
hold
how
on to
close
him.
they were. I wonder how close they were to not. I mean, because it was grim up until like week 10 of this year, so it was like
Hmm.
closing in on the first two seasons being like pretty
Yeah.
abysmal. So
Well, that's what I started. I think I was talking to you a while ago, and I was saying that he was a bust, which I think I was probably a little fast with that one. But
no, I probably endorsed it 100. I probably heard that was like. I mean, there was nothing really to suggest otherwise. So
yeah,
because there was the theory that you could hang on to. It's just like Peyton Manning started with I don't know like a rookie record for interceptions and then went on to become a Hall of Famer. But it was not they were not comparable. That was not the he was yeah. It looked
yeah,
much more grim than early Peyton Manning. So
right.
yeah.
Okay,
All right.
Lamar,
Yeah,
or did we
Lamar.
talk about Derek yet?
We have not talked about Derek Carr.
Okay.
Yeah, a little less exciting than Lamar, but we'll get that out of the way here.
I feel like it would be cool. Panthers are in the QB market, aren't they?
If they're not, they should be. So I'm
Yeah,
sure
that
they
for
are.
sure.
Yeah.
That would be very interesting because I think Carr still has the potential to be a franchise quarterback somewhere,
I want to
and
believe in Derek Carr so bad.
I do
Yeah.
too. I do too. Not on my team, but I do.
You wouldn't take him over Andy Dalton if you
Over
know you
Andy
could give him
Dalton,
some
yeah.
reasonable
Well,
contract and
maybe it
try it
depends
out.
on how much you have to pay him.
Yeah. But he can't command like he's going to be in a different tier from like Rodgers money. I
Yeah,
mean, definitely from
right.
Lamar money. He's just,
Yeah,
he's probably more affordable. Somewhere between like Jimmy G and Rodgers. So
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, Panthers are interesting. They were competitive with Darnold, so there's no reason to. I mean, competitive within the NFC South, but
Which was a
which is
dumpster fire
yeah.
this
Also,
season.
also a little subplot here. I've been thinking I cannot, for the life of me, think of a worse quarterback division than the current NFC South that I've seen in my lifetime. I'd be
Isn't
curious
it
to think
something?
if you can. Yeah, Kyle Trask. Um, Sam Darnold, Desmond
Sam,
Ritter,
yeah.
and Andy Dalton. Andy
Andy
Dalton is
Dalton.
like actually the best quarterback in the division, and I don't think it's close, which is crazy. So I don't know.
It's not.
I didn't mean to
It's
just
not
rub
the
that
best
in. I'm
spot to be
sorry, but
in. You know,
yeah. So
not
yeah,
the
send
best.
send like Aaron Rodgers to one team, Jimmy G to another, and Derek Carr and liven it up or something. But it's bad.
What if Rodgers went to Tampa?
Oh, I probably win a Super Bowl. That seems like a
I
although
would
they're in
hate
cap
that so much.
they're a cap disaster right now. So that might
That's
be
true.
something.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
That's a fascinating thought, though. I would love it if the Bucks just kept, like, picking off the
Yeah, they
top
just
quarterback every year,
out to
every couple of years.
retire elite quarterbacks and
Yeah.
winning Super Bowls.
The new Broncos with the yeah, no, that's yeah, no, that's a fun thought. Um, Lamar Jackson, I can't see going anywhere but
He's
Baltimore.
not.
I
Yeah,
don't know. Yeah.
they're gonna
Well, that's a
throw
short
the
discussion.
world at him to keep him there.
Yeah. Um, Also shout out to Deshaun Watson for, just ruining the quarterback market. This kind of, uh I think the deal would have been done before the 2022 season, without Deshaun's deal. So,
Yeah,
I don't know. Tough spot.
just
Um,
mess it up. Why don't you?
well, let's send it over to okay, so this now seems overly pessimistic, but we'll roll with it. The 3 for each of us to give are what we currently believe to be the 3 most lost franchises, in the NFL, which, I mean, is a grim subject, but we'll quickly
Yeah,
turn it
no, it's
around to
tough.
the Super Bowl. You gotta get the, opposite sides of the spectrum. So,
Yeah, and
I
because you know that they know that they're there,
yeah, no.
so it's
I'm
got to be just pain.
first round, first overall pick, Houston Texans. Uh,
Yeah,
I wanna feel good about D'Amico Ryans, but just history, even like a short history, they're like the youngest I think the youngest team.
I think so.
It
Yeah.
I don't think they can have joy.
No.
So yeah, no, okay, let's keep it to 3 between the 2 of us. I'll do
Three
that,
between.
you do 1,
Okay.
and I'll throw another
All
out.
right. I
'Cause this just feels insulting. I feel bad.
well, yeah, yeah. I felt like the team that I felt most embarrassed, like third party embarrassment for, was the Colts
That's a sleeper. That's a good one. Yeah.
because they like Matt Ryan was so hyped up. He's not the problem with Atlanta. He just lost his number one receiver. Take him over there, he'll flourish, and it was abysmal.
Now, are you trying to pretend like you didn't enjoy every second of that?
No,
Or okay, cool.
no,
Yeah. No,
no. It
you're
was a
owning it. That's good.
joyous for me. I was like inside thrilled, but also understanding that they made this huge commitment and were
Yeah.
putting all their marbles on this guy, and it just all crumbled. And so
Yeah.
now they're stuck with it.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, tough.
Uh, I and this okay, so I'll do one last one, and it's the Cleveland Browns, and it's not because that they've been like it's not because of the history. It's genuinely because they got a first round quarterback and they built talent around him and they got him a line and they got him a defensive line and they got him a secondary with like all pros. I mean, there was that year with like Ward and Miles Garrett
Yeah,
and they did it. They fixed, like
they built the
they
team.
fixed 40, 50. I mean, not even literally, they're like one of the oldest franchises. They finally fixed their problems. Um, and it all crumbled away. In my head, I'm like, I can't think of a worse situation than to, like, be in the desert for just decades, and
Yeah,
you get out, you find the oasis, and it all just goes away as soon as you get
in a
there. You
matter of
beat the
years.
They beat the Ben Roethlisberger, they, like, picked him off twice in the first quarter of the playoff game, almost beat the Chiefs, and then just gave guaranteed money to a quarterback that hadn't played in a year and a half and crumbled.
It
I
shows.
just so
Yeah,
yeah, so
that's tough.
I'm sure the Browns fan watching is not happy, but it's just
The Browns.
yeah. Oh man, he's a whole
Yeah,
in a
he's
whole
not
world
a
of hurt.
happy
So
camper.
yeah. All right, so we'll wrap it up with Super Bowl predictions. I figure we go position by position. Just I mean, we could do yardage. I was thinking yardage, but like which one
Okay.
has the best game at every position? We'll start quarterback.
All right. You know, as much as it pains me because he annoys me, Patrick Mahomes is going to go crazy, I feel like.
Yeah,
I don't
love
know
it.
why I feel that way, but I feel like he didn't have a super impressive playoff. So he's going to have 2 weeks of rest. The ankle was bothering him. I think that was a big factor. So he's going to be rested up, and I think he's going to field juice and go crazy.
Okay. Yeah, no, I landed in the same spot. It's not that Jalen Hurts didn't have like a, borderline MVP season, but
No,
like
yeah,
if you're asking me to trust a quarterback in the Super Bowl, I'll take the one that's been there before and won it.
right.
It's just like Hurts isn't a rookie. I don't know if I think he's third year, or second year. It's just the
Yeah.
track record is not there for like that young of a quarterback.
No, and
Um,
that's a ton of pressure.
yeah.
Mahomes has
So
been there more than once.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And and I'll say this, they had unquestionably had an easier route to the Super Bowl than the
Oh,
Chiefs.
yeah.
Like Trevor Lawrence on a heater, whatever. Joe Burrow, right? And then
Yeah.
the other side of it is Daniel Jones, which look, okay, I'm not gonna buy that he's like an actual great quarterback now because he had like a good ish season with a
Yeah.
healthy Saquon. They're gonna sign him to 20 million, and he's gonna do 3,500 yards and 20 touchdowns a season for however long that contract is.
Yeah.
Not buying it.
He'll
And
be
then
average.
they got 100%. And then they get Josh Johnson and Brock Purdy without an elbow. So like in terms of like deep playoff, they haven't. I don't know. They seem like they're over their skis a bit.
No, yeah. What
Also,
was the score in
wait,
the
which
NFC Championship game?
that was like
It
37 to
was
14 or
bad.
something. It was horrendous. Yeah, it was off by halftime. As soon as Josh Johnson, former LA Wildcats XFL quarterback, took the field, it was time to tune it off. Turn the game
Yeah.
off. Yeah,
Yeah, it was 31-7. That's
yeah, yeah,
that's painful.
not good.
That's like a college playoff score.
Yeah, it's nothing will ever beat what TCU did, but that's getting there.
Right.
So I went ahead and I because I was looking at the playoffs, I went back and looked at the most recent quarterbacks that the Eagles have played. So I'm going to go backwards order. Yeah, Brock Purdy without an elbow. Daniel Jones 2 games in a row. Lost to Andy Dalton. Lost to Dak Prescott. Beat Justin Fields. Beat Daniel Jones a third time.
Jeez.
Tannehill and Malik Willis. And then Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers was the last good quarterback they played, and that was like week 10. So okay. First of all, 3
Jeez.
of the last 7 quarterbacks the Eagles have played have been Daniel Jones. They have not played.
That's wild.
Yeah, I know. They played him twice in a row, and then played him like a few weeks before that. They haven't played. Kirk Cousins is the other good quarterback they've played. The next closest
Huh.
that I could even think of is either Dak Prescott or Daniel Jones. That's what their seasons look like.
That's wild.
Yeah. They have steamrolled through. I mean, it's like, okay, and the NFC East is really good, but
Yeah.
they lost to the Cowboys. I don't know if they lost to Washington. They're not as good as okay, I'm sorry. I'll Cowboys jersey up there somewhere. I get the look. I get the look is bad. I just can't buy it when the other team is the Chiefs with Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. So that's the end of my rant. I picked Patrick Mahomes as the better quarterback. All right, that seems clear at
Yes,
this point.
for sure.
All right, running back. How are we feeling?
Jeez.
Yeah, it's Pacheco is the starter for Kansas City. I
Is
honestly had
it?
to look
Okay,
that
that's
up.
what I was
Yeah.
trying to. Yeah.
It's not
So
a memorable
Sanders will be the running back of the game for sure.
That seems fair. Yeah. And I put just jumping ahead to wide receiver because running back seems like a throwaway in this
Yeah.
game.
He's one of my fantasy running backs that I
Sanders,
consistently go after. Yeah, because
was
he's
he
consistent.
decent this year?
This year I didn't have him,
Oh, okay.
but
Yeah.
he's
No, I
usually
didn't
pretty
keep track.
consistent. So
Okay. Yeah, wide receiver, it also feels pretty one-sided. I said AJ Brown. That
yeah,
like it genuine the
yeah,
skill positions besides tight end, I think Philly has it. I still don't
yeah.
think that's
Tight
enough
end's
to
interesting this
overtake it,
time,
but
even with Kelsey in there.
Yeah, yeah, I waffled
Yeah,
a bit between, Goddard. I mean, he hasn't had it's been, a few weeks since he's had, like, a really, really solid game, but he's good.
yeah, and I still well, that applies to both of them. The having 2 weeks off because they take a beating, tight
Yeah.
ends. So giving them the 2 weeks rest, they're gonna. I think Kelsey is a better. I think he's more athletic, so
Yeah,
I think
which
he
is funny
can.
because I think he's, like, 5 years older, but
Yeah, yeah.
he just is.
So I think
Yeah.
he has the higher ceiling,
Yeah,
but
that feels
it'll
comfy.
be yeah, it'll be a close matchup there.
I broke it down by I wasn't gonna go position group on defense, but, like, just which team, more sacks, more turnovers, you could make them different if you want to or,
I
spit out your
think
prediction.
okay, so I think this is going to be a very low turnover game. I think Philly's defense is the better defense in this game by time of possession, forcing forcing Chiefs off the field, and then the Eagles' offense is gonna. I think they use Miles Sanders a lot and run clock and try to
Okay.
take over that way.
A little option
Yeah,
with Hurts too. I mean,
yeah,
that is kind of the only X factor that I can see, like, switching it over in my head, is Hurts running. It is
yeah,
terrifying.
yeah.
I mean, I only saw him admittedly, I don't watch many Eagles games, but, like, the last time I, like, sat down and watched, like, a full game besides the playoffs was when they played Dallas, and it was it was
Yeah.
Cooper Rush. And okay, and I will say this much, they almost lost to Cooper Rush, just throwing an extra dagger in there,
So,
while I can, because they're inevitably gonna demolish the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I'm just gonna have to live with it, but
no
while I
shit.
can, they almost lost to Cooper Rush, and the only difference in my mind was just, his ability to run. So that should be very scary for Kansas City.
Yeah,
Um,
he's very
okay,
hard
so
to contain.
you're saying Eagles win the time of possession, run the ball, low
Yeah,
turnover. So then, do you have a turnover leader, or are you just saying like doesn't matter?
I feel like I think Mahomes throws one early,
Interesting. Okay.
and then it's like everybody gets their stuff together and tightens up. But I feel like he's gonna try to push something that he shouldn't try to push.
And everybody's gonna immediately go like, "Oh, Philly, team of destiny. That's it. That's the start. That's the
That's
start of
it's
the
over
wave.
with.
There's no
It's over
looking
with.
back." Yeah.
That or there's gonna be some like penalty in the backfield that negates it, and he'll be all right. So
Okay. Well, I tell you, I think we're ready to wrap up. I want to give a closing statement, clarifying my why the Chiefs will win. Look, they've got more experienced, including Super Bowl experienced players, right? Better quarterback, better tight end, better coach,
that's the thing.
debatably better running back, comparable offensive lines. I know the Eagles had like I guess historic offensive line. Chiefs were rated
Yeah,
like fourth in the league. It's not that far off. Comparable defensive lines. I think the only area that Philly's like concretely better is receivers and maybe linebacker. But in my view of things, one that is admittedly a hair biased, I think the Chiefs run away with it. I'm gonna say Chiefs 31, Eagles 19.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's gonna be closer than that. I think we got. I think we get a 2 point conversion in there somewhere. A lot lately for some reason. Um, so I feel like yeah, I did think the 30 range for winner, but I feel like a 34 type deal, like a one score
30,
maybe.
34.
Yeah, one score. I don't think it's gonna be a two touchdown game. Maybe a touchdown and field goal, but I don't think. I
Yeah,
think
I
they're gonna
think
run
it
away with it.
I wonder if it looks a bit like the Chiefs 49ers game. Like in my head, it's higher scoring and the Chiefs dominate throughout, but part of me pictures like a late game Mahomes push. And that's the difference, is just the experience and
Right.
him being at the next
And he's
level.
just calm.
Yeah. All right. Well, good stuff. Hope you enjoyed the first episode of the Outside the Numbers podcast.
This was fun, man.
We will see y'all after the Super Bowl, I guess, next Monday. So
yeah,
thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, dude. It's a good time.
All right. Peace.
Dose.